In this episode, I'm going to talk about body shaming, being fat, and happy with who you are.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome everyone to episode 204 of the Daily Mother Swole. Episode 204 of the Daily Swole. Caffeine is in my system. I am obviously not in my normal surroundings. I am in Orlando. I'm at a Hilton in Orlando. I'm at the MAC pageants. This is pretty sweet. There's a lot of princesses running around, a lot of crowns. Go Facebook. Yeah, Facebook is rocking. Make sure right now, if you're on, make sure you click live subscribe on Facebook. Make sure you share this right now. So if you're following me, I can see if you share it. I can see in the comments. Share it on Facebook. Thank you for watching on YouTube. And remember, you can catch all the episodes as a podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. So this will all be on a podcast, and it'll be up pretty quickly. So I'll get that out to you right away. This is a body shaming episode. This is a fat shaming. This is in response to, I think it's Iskra Lawrence's video. I don't know if you saw this. I caught it on Facebook. I'm sure it's going around viral there. It's on the internet. And it is a video where she goes into a Subway and she takes off her dress, and she's not naked or anything, but she's wearing like a bra and underwear, and she's a plus size model. I guess she's a size 14. And she does this whole speech about, it's a great video. It's a great video. It's very uplifting. It's a very positive message. And I want to address a couple things about it, you know, the pros and the cons of this situation. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm all for loving who you are. You have to appreciate, you have to be happy. Everyone is given something different, bottom line. Bottom line, everyone when they're born is given something different. First off, you're given the gift of life, and you're given like a blueprint. You're given DNA. You're given tools. You're giving like a structure. You didn't choose it. Your parents didn't choose it. They're in part responsible for what you get, but you didn't choose what you got. Okay? You have to deal with the hand that you're dealt with. Now, you can be successful. You can be happy with no matter what you have. And there are people that have a lot, that have looks, that have money, that have all this seemingly great stuff, and they commit suicide. They're miserable. So we know there's a lot of elements and aspects going on that contribute to someone either being happy or miserable. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter who your family is. It doesn't matter where you went to school. It doesn't matter where you grew up. Some of the poorest countries in the world are the happiest based on all these studies and research. So how do we determine, or how do we like segment someone that's happy with who they are, someone that should strive for something better, and where does health come into play with all this? I'm going to come at it from the health standpoint too. Now remember, the underlying theme of this whole video is find your happiness. Find what makes you happy, whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you really, truly happy. A plus, 100%, that's you. That's what you should do. End of story, done. Agreed? Agreed. If you're happy, that's where the buck stops. If you're happy with who you are, if you're happy with what you look like, what you do for a living, who you surround yourself with, where you live, if you're happy, done, end of story, box it up, ship it, Amazon Prime, make your millions off that product, because if you can do that, you're straight. But next point, because we're talking about health, this is a health show, this is an educational health show, and as you know, we talk about the gains both mentally and emotionally. So let's talk about the fitness aspect. There's a lot of research, tons of research, that shows that being overweight or carrying extra weight is detrimental to one's health. Everyone's going to store body fat differently. What's up, Tampa? Love the Grand Tour on Amazon Prime. There's plenty of research that shows that extra body weight can lead you to a list of detrimental metabolic diseases. It could be metabolic syndrome, it could be diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, heart disease, those things that are bad. There's correlations. They don't exactly know every reason why carrying extra weight does those things. Not guaranteed, but can lead to, make you predisposed. Now remember, what you're born with is going to have an effect on that. If you're born with predispositions, things that run in your family, let's say lung cancer runs in your family. If you smoke, you're more likely to get lung cancer. I think we can agree on that. A lot of times, what your body or what your family history is prone to or is exposed to is more likely to happen to you. That's generally understood. It doesn't mean that if you smoke a pack a day, you're gonna get lung cancer, but there are cases where people smoke all the time and don't get lung cancer. And there are people that never smoke in their life and get lung cancer. So it's almost like the shit end of the stick, but if your family has a long history of heart disease, there's a greater chance of you getting heart disease. So you should watch out for those things to do during your life that would lead to that. Be careful of things that would lead to heart disease because you're more likely to get it, okay? I got a family meme. We have lung issues and won't quit. Well, yeah, family member. Well, I mean, people have a choice. People have a choice. Bottom line, people have a choice. You all have a choice. Everyone that's watching this, listening to this on the podcast, watching this on Facebook Live, watching this on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever you're watching this, think about it. You have a choice. I know there's addictions and there's addictive personalities, but you're born with a set of tools. You can't change your face unless you get plastic surgery. You can't change your intestines. There's certain things you can't change, but there's certain things that you can change. You can choose what to eat. You can choose where you live. You can choose what you do for a living. For some people, this might be easier than others or perceivably easier than others, but you can choose. Now, getting back to the issue, there's a health concern. I want you to be happy with who you are. I want you to be happy with what you have. And if you're overweight, some people really are almost destined to be overweight. Like no matter what they do, they can't lose. So here's the option. You're miserable your whole life. You try to lose weight. You try to eat healthier. You do cardio. You lift weights. You just can't lose past a certain point. You have options. You're going to be miserable or you're going to appreciate what you have. There's that fine line, I feel, between appreciating what you have and trying to better yourself. And I think people that try to lose weight or trying to be in shape or try to be more fit, it's almost getting looked at as, no, you have to be appreciative of who you are. It's like, well, but I want to be better. But you should be happy with what you have. But there's the health concerns. You see what I'm saying? There's like this, it's almost like how you want to look at it. You can look at being overweight as, oh, I love who I am. I'm proud of what I am. I'm a big, man, woman, and I'm overweight and I'm proud of it. In a lot of ways, that's great. That's great. You should be happy of who you are. You should be proud of who you are. You should be happy with what you have. You should be appreciative that you have life. At the same time, there are concerns about taking care of yourself, and because you love yourself and because you appreciate yourself, you want to take care of yourself and be fit and exercise and be more slender for health benefits. Now, if we were literally looking at someone and saying, okay, these two people are equally healthy, one's overweight, one's skinny, who should be happier? Both should be happy because you're healthy. When health becomes a concern, that's where you really have to draw the line. But when do you draw the line? That's where I'm concerned about where this conversation is going, because you have the plus size models, and I know, in this country and in the world, it's becoming more acceptable to be overweight in a sense, like be proud of who you are. And I do think that's great. I really think that's great. I think it's great. And, it's not, we're not, people are going after bullies and picking on people and being rude, and there's a lot more love and understanding. I know the media is going to post all the riots and the anti-Trump and the pro and everyone rioting in the streets. The media wants to sell you on shit. Privately held companies want you to watch for advertising. So they're going to show you miserable stuff. But there's a lot of love in this world too. There's a lot of people that are accepting in this world, and more people are accepted for being overweight and those types of, and body image and what they look like than ever before. Don't let the media skew your freaking brain. There's more acceptance in this world than there ever has been in history. Don't let anyone fucking lie to you. Don't let anyone fucking lie to you and say that this world is all racist and bullshit. No, there's more acceptance and more opportunities for people around the world than there ever has been in the history of history. So be careful what you listen to and what you buy, what people preach. I just don't want people to sit back and accept the fact that they're overweight just because, like almost like out of laziness. Like, you know what? I don't have to lose weight. I can just sit back, be lazy, and play off and make the excuse. I don't want people to use this as an excuse. I think that's where I'm still trying to figure this stuff out. I'm trying to have a discussion with you. I feel that people can use that as an excuse. People that could have the motivation, that could do it, that could lose weight and be more healthy and more active in their life and set themselves up for more success down the line. They're going to use this, I'm happy with who I am, I'm happy with my body, I have a body image, I don't have a body image problem, I'm happy being overweight. They're going to use that as an excuse to not do the work. They're going to use this as an excuse. I'm not saying everyone will, that's ridiculous. So don't put a blanket over that statement. I know people will. That's what bothers me, is that people will use this, maybe not even consciously, but they will use it as a way to get out of taking care of their bodies. And it could affect them later on, because it is hard to lose weight as you get older. It can lead to metabolic issues that they don't have now. They could be 25 or 30, be a little overweight. I'm happy with my body. That's great. But when you're 50 and 60 and that 10 pounds turns into 30, are you going to be as happy? Are you going to be as healthy? I just don't want this to snowball. I'm all for acceptance. I think people should make their own choices. I think people get the right to choose about their body. I think people get the right to choose about who they want to be with and who they want to love. It doesn't affect me at all. I think this world is so hell-bent on getting into people's fucking business, it's nauseating. Let people do what they want to do. If you're not murdering people or causing mass chaos, let people be fucking happy with what they want to do with their own lives and their own bodies. That's my personal opinion. I don't get a lot of politics. I don't think that's politics. I think that's life. I think that's love. I think that's just being human. Do what you need to do for you that's best for you, because you have one shot on this life. I don't want this idea and this equality and this body image stuff to get out of control and allow people to sit back, and in the long run, it's going to bite people in the ass. I know for a fact, and it sucks, that people are going to get behind this and get all rah-rah, and then if you say anything about it to their face, like you're just saying that, they're going to get defensive, reply with all this rhetoric about, no, I'm happy with my body, I'm happy with who I am, I'm happy as a person, and they're going to deny the fact that they just don't want to put in the work to be healthier, and it's going to bite them in the ass in the long run. I really think so. Let me take a couple questions. I got some comments on Facebook. Got a lot of people in here. Please share this, because I think this is a great topic. I think a lot of people don't know that this video came out, and I honestly think that's a good point. It's a good point. I just want to read some questions on Facebook. Trevor, I played football all my life, and I was in tremendous shape. My first son was born, and I went from 5'11", 200, and my health was terrible, and I bettered myself, and the self-confidence came back tenfold. It's all about self-image, not others' opinions. Yeah, it's always about your self-image. That's what I'm saying. That's a good thing. That's why I like people to take away from that, is that it's a good thing to have positive self-image. The problem is where people are going to be like using this as a shield, as a cover, as an excuse, as a reason to not be healthier. Christina, as a plus-size woman, I love that people are more accepting, but I'm constantly trying to better myself because I know I'm not healthy. And that's the point. And I know, Christina, we've been, interacting a lot here on social media for a while, and you're awesome. And I've always, had a soft spot in my heart for you and, and your personal struggles. But that's self-awareness. You're aware of your situation. You're more aware than other people. You're not in denial. And I think that's where maybe I'm talking about, is that people are in denial, or could use this to be in denial, because they don't want to admit that they don't want to put the effort out. They don't want to admit that they're lazy. They don't want to admit that they don't, have the drive to do it. So they're going to hide behind this, oh, I'm happy with my body, and then just let it get worse, right? I agree. Don't let lazy people drag you down. True. I just became lazy. So what do you do when it's your significant other? That's a good question, Sarah. Let's tackle that in a second. Let's see what else we got. 2017 will be the year you become blow up. Good things coming. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think 2016 has just been the setup for me for all this. Wait, so you're saying that's okay to be a little overweight as long as you're healthy? Let's do that one first. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's not okay. Because here's the thing. If you watch the whole video, if you saw it, maybe you didn't see it from the beginning, but everyone's given a different set of tools. Everyone's given a different beginning. Everyone's given a different, starting point. So you can't choose the cards you're dealt with. So I want people to take from this. I want you to do the best you can with what you have. You need to accept what you have. You need to accept limitations. You need to be honest with your limitations. You need to be, understanding of what. You need to be understanding, where, pretty much where your starting line is. You need to do your best to make yourself better and to improve yourself. But don't lose sight of the fact that you should be appreciative for what you have and that you're blessed to have anything, period. But that drive to do better, that drive to improve yourself, that drive to search for what makes you greater, what makes you happier. Search for happiness. Let's just do that. Search for happiness. If you're happy, if you're truly happy being a plus-size woman, being in that situation, great. You should be happy with your body. You should always be happy with your body. But I don't want that to cloud and to veil and to smog over the fact that it could affect your health. You should be setting a good example for other people. Don't hide behind this trend of acceptance for being overweight as an effect, as a reason to, shield yourself from doing the work. Don't just accept the way you are if you know you can be better. That's what I'm saying. I think everyone can be better. I think there's always a next level. There's always a way to push. But there's also people that are never satisfied. They're never happy, and they're miserable unless they get that 5 pounds off. And I think that's dangerous as well. That's very dangerous. You have to be appreciative of what you have. You have to be thankful for what you have. You have to be accepting of what you have. But I think you could always try to be better. There's that fine balance. Happiness is the key, but there's that fine balance between both. And I think it's hard to say one thing or the other. That's the problem. But just don't hide. Don't hide. I think no matter how happy you are with yourself, you should still always be trying to be. I agree. That's probably the best way to say it, Lauren. Be the best version of you. Be the best version of yourself, because that's all you can be. People are going to look at me and be like, man, I wish I had your body. I wish I had abs. I wish I had this. Well, you'll never have my body. You never will. And that's not an ego talking. It's just you never will. I'm me and you are you. You can be the best you. I will never be you likewise. Maybe you have a higher IQ. You're great at math. Maybe you have a massively successful multi-million-dollar company that I could have. But you have now. Like, you've done things, or you have abilities that I don't have. Maybe you could play the violin. Like, you have skills I don't have, and I have things that maybe you don't have, or maybe you could never have, just because of my genetics, my DNA, and my history, my background. There's a lot of factors, but you can still be the best you, and I'll be the best me. And I think when people look in the magazine like, oh, I want to be like that, I want to look like that, you almost forget for a second that you'll never look like that because you're not that person. You'll never look like that, and plus sometimes they're photoshopped and all that crap. Define overweight. What if you're 12% body fat? But according to the BMI, you're overweight. BMI is garbage. BMI is what? Your height in meters divided by kilograms squared, or your weight in kilograms divided by meters squared, or one of those things. Height and weight doesn't mean overweight. That's an archaic method of measuring. If you're completely sedentary and you never work out, it could be a better idea of where you are naturally. But if you exercise, your BMI is going to be, I'm obese or severely overweight according to my BMI because of my height and my muscle mass. Doesn't mean I'm not healthy. Let's see. I set my goals 2 or 3 months apart. It was an adequate amount to see small improvements. And it's like, right, celebrate every step forward, but it's patience. You have to be patient. And that's where people fall off. I mean, that's a different conversation altogether, but that patience is going to factor in a lot. Some people aren't built to look like Victoria's Secret models or U-Dash, but just because someone doesn't look like that doesn't mean they're not healthy. True. Exactly what I'm saying. It doesn't. The first thing is you need to be healthy. You should exercise because it's good for you. It's proven that it's good for you. You're a human body, you're a machine. It's like building a car and leaving it in a parking lot all the time. It's going to rot, it's going to rust, it's going to solidify, it's going to seize up. The joints are going to dry out, the seals are going to dry out. It's going to become a fucking paperweight, right? It's going to become a piece of junk. So cars are meant to be driven, the body is meant to be moved. And being healthy does not mean you have to look like a Victoria's Secret model. And a lot of those chicks, those girls, those supermodels, they're not healthy. They're extremely emaciated. They're starving themselves. They're, water depletion. They're not healthy. And we all know this. A lot of that's not healthy. So looking a certain way doesn't mean you're not healthy, but at the same time, being overweight correlates to potential health risks. Health risks. And I said that maybe not in those words, but that's what I meant when I was saying it could lead to being more healthy. Those risks. And those risks are what you don't want to hide behind. Oh, I'm overweight and I'm proud of myself, this and the other. I'm just happy with who I am. No, I have to work out. I'm happy with who I am. I'm proud to be like this. When you're just really kind of hiding, you're kind of faking it. You're faking it to make it because you don't want to put in the work to exercise and really be healthier. And like I'm saying, it could bite you in the ass later. All of a sudden, 10 years down the road, you have issues because you were more overweight, not as healthy as you thought you were, BMI is poop, perfect set of emojis. Just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy. There's skinny fat too. Yeah, skinny fat, if you're really skinny, you have less bone density. You could be at great risk for osteoporosis, poor bone health. If you're really skinny, you could be, malnutrition. You could definitely be skinny fat, have very low muscle tone and muscle mass, and just be bone and fat. Do you think self-sabotage is real, almost like fear of being successful? Absolutely. The mind is more powerful than the body. The mind controls everything. The mind controls everything. Confidence, like self-confidence, understanding or thinking or believing in yourself that you can do something. Absolutely. The mind is everything. Everything. Self-sabotage? Sure. There are a lot of people, I guarantee it, there's a lot of people that are out there that are using this body image, or I am happy with being overweight. I'm happy with who I am. Like if I exercise, that means I'm like if they're exercising to lose weight and to be more slender, to have a certain physique, they feel like it's ego that I'm not happy with who I am if I do this. If I do this, that means I'm not really proud of who I am. So I'm not going to work out. I'm just going to be proud of being overweight. And they just do nothing. And I think that's a very interesting, switch to flip. And I think a lot of people are going to hide behind that and use this trend of plus size and, positive body image to not be healthy and deny that to themselves. Be happy with who you are, but don't let it get in the way of your health. And here's the thing. Health is very relative. Health, eating healthy for one person could be not eating meat, be completely vegan, all raw, this certain things, and healthy for someone else could be like, well, I had a light beer today, I didn't have a full Guinness, so that's healthy. So health is relative in terms of eating healthy, but I think I'm talking about living more fulfilled life longer, not being incapacitated, being able to do what you love in your life longer. Maybe you love playing computers, so if you're in a wheelchair, you don't give a shit if you can't walk. Maybe when you get older, it's like, well, I can still do what I love, so that you're happy. But if you love to walk, you love to take long walks, and you have osteoporosis and you can't really walk, you're so weak and frail, and then you're in a wheelchair from when you're 65 on, you're miserable because you can't go outside without being pushed, and you're not mobile yourself, and that's when it could get, that's not good. So you don't want to let yourself get like that, or get overweight to the point where you can't walk, and then you have issues, and you can't play with your kids, you can't go on vacations because you can't walk, you can't get around. There's issues. Guilty, I've self-sabotaged in the past, I've self-sabotaged in the past, unfortunately, not with positive body image, but it's real. It's real. But the brain, you can definitely you can convince yourself of hope, that there's hope in the future for X, Y, and Z. You can convince yourself that there's no hope. You can kind of make yourself depressed. You have so much control with your brain. You have so much control with your brain. So be careful with that. I want to get into this one question. Where was it said? Let's see, with significant other. It was a good one. Where was it? Skinny fat. This is a significant other one. Let's see, this version. Mortals, played football as a plus size. Oh, okay. So what do you do when it's your significant other, lazy and unhealthy? This is another topic altogether as well. When your significant other is lazy and unhealthy, I'm just going to say it. Are they the right person for you? Are they the right person for you? Is that important to you? Is that so important in your life that you need that in a significant other? I mean, obviously you want, if you love them and they're everything you ever dreamed of and they're unhealthy, you care about their health. You want them to live and be good. You care about the person. I get it. But are they the right person to share your time with if they don't have the same values or the same understanding and the same care for their body? That's just being like as cut and dry as possible. Now, here's the other aspect. Just because someone doesn't work out like you doesn't mean that they're not right for you, doesn't mean that you don't, that might not bother you as much. You know, everyone's different. Let's see, what was I gonna say? You cannot extrinsically motivate someone. You can to a point, but the person has to want to. You ever see the movie Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio? Remember how they have to like plant the idea, you know, at a root level in the guy's brain, and he has to have so it's like he has the idea himself, like on an elemental level. That intrinsic motivation has to come from within. And if it doesn't, it's very hard for the other person not to get defensive, not to get protective, not to try to resist that change and resist and feel like they're being attacked and they're being pushed and forced, and they're less likely to stick to it. Motivation is very surface, but with significant others and brothers and sisters and family members and like, oh, you know, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, it can be very pushy, like, you know, why don't you work out more? It can be seen as very nagging. That's a tough bridge to cross. But you can definitely, if it's really bad, an intervention, something like that might be a good idea. But also you could just lead by example. You know, if you do the shopping, you know, take control of the shopping, buy healthier foods. You know, they're a grown man or woman, they can buy stuff on their own, but make healthier choices. Start losing weight. Start telling them like, wow, you look great. You know, you're looking. You look better. I mean, you look great in this, or you know, you want to come with me? You can offer like to join. Don't force. Don't push. Or maybe just have, you know, if you have good communication with your husband, spouse, or your significant other, you can have a brutally honest conversation, and come at it with compassion. Don't use the words you. Don't be accusatory. Just tell them how you feel, and if they really care about you and you have good communication, telling them how you feel is going to be important to them. So how you feel about their future, you're worried about their health. You know, you're not forcing them to exercise, but you want them to take, you know, care of them because you care about them so much. You want them to be healthy. You want to have a long life together. You want the best for them. And maybe just if they're open to trying something and then see how it goes, because, you know, it'll mean a lot to you, not to the other person. Don't come at it for you as like it's something that you feel, because you can't invalidate someone's feelings. Everyone that has feelings has a feeling for a reason, and you can't deny that. You can't shut someone's feelings off. They have that feeling, and that's the way they are. That's the way it is. You can't say, oh, you don't feel that. It's like, who the fuck are you to tell me how I feel? So come at it from that aspect is usually, it will be more beneficial. It's less confrontational, and it'll be accepted better. Dash is like, to the point of not being attracted to them at all. Oh, geez. Well, okay, so if you're not attracted to them at all, that answers your question right there. You can tell them how you feel. Tell them how you feel. Then they might not be the right person for you. If you're not attracted to them, how are they the right person for you? I think you're answering your own questions. It's just a matter of, this is turning into like Love Line now. Fitness Love Line. It's just going to be maybe, are they the right person to spend your time with? Your time now or the time in your future? I'm not sure what kind of relationship you're talking about specifically, whether it's like a marriage with children or it's like as a boyfriend, girlfriend. I mean, you have to, if you're going to spend time with someone, surround yourself, family, it doesn't matter who it is, surround yourself with family that builds you. If members of your family don't build you, there are members of my family that I might not spend as much time with, but we're close, but there are other members that I don't spend a lot of time with because we're not so close, and they don't do anything for me in terms of like, there's no forward, just because let me just say, in case anyone's watching this, because we don't talk all the time, doesn't mean that, you know, is anything negative, but I'm talking about surround yourself closely with people that are benefiting you in terms of not being selfish, but that motivates you to do better, that challenge you, that are a positive influence in your life. So whether it's relationships, whether it's sexual, physical, intimate relationships, whether it's family, whether it's friends. Dash like the best friend that we all go to for advice. Dash is not about BS, just wants you to be the best you can be. True stories. True, damn straight. If my ex would have been that way with me, I would have been more open to working out with him. Right. And the problem is most people don't have good communication. Most people don't have good communication, especially just, I mean, there's maturity levels, there's emotional, there's EQ, there's being able to express your feelings, and a lot of people aren't really good at expressing their feelings. And that's just the shit of it. So thank you for watching this episode. I know it's a long one. I appreciate you sharing it. Thank you for the huge turnout on Facebook. Please show up in droves like this every day. This is awesome. And we'll keep on crushing these great talking points. If you have any really amazing or topics or things you really want to hear or get into, make sure you message me here on Swolenormous on Facebook. You can message me on Snapchat, also Instagram. Thank you for joining me for episode 204 of the Daily Mother Swole. I'll stay for a couple minutes after on Facebook Live to address any additional questions. Thank you for joining me on YouTube. Thank you for listening in on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher for the podcast. And I'll see everyone tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern Time on the Daily Mother Swole for episode 205. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.